So I'd gone out on Facebook Marketplace and I found all these old tables. These are restaurant tables. Oh, they reek of smoke, something terrible. But 36 bucks, I bought 8 of these things. You know, they're 42 inches long and 30 inches wide. And I'm going to cut the base of the desk out of these things. You know, each table will make a side. This will be a rack, an under desk rack, and then I'll mount, you know, the desk sits on this surface, and then I'll mount a top desk rack on top of all this, which I'll show you as I get to that. I've built those. Or I'm building those. Yeah, that's just a temporary board on there. I'll use tabletop to cross them, but anyway, that'll be the top rack that I'll be using. Build racks out of that oak, and that will be nice. Yeah, let's see how all this goes. Let's get to cutting. I've built my first template here as cut, so guess I'll start tracing the board under it to build its mate for the other side of the under rack. Let's see how it goes.
I could plow a line since I was 9, sitting on my daddy's knees, and that old tractor down the road. We lost the farm, dad is gone. I moved to town to find a job. I don't even have that tractor anymore. And he would whisper in my ear on the days he let me steer. Fields and life are a lot alike, you know. Take 'em steady, smooth, and slow. There's so much that I regret, but life ain't nearly whipped me yet. There are lessons in the wounds I've earned. I took a wife on Paul's advice. How can you know what all your life might mean when you're standing there with her? Her granddad's words were loving, wise, and we've remembered all our lives. It must have saved us 100 times or more. Take it steady, smooth, and slow. Steady like a breeze on a summer day. Smooth like a lover that wants you to stay. Babies grew from pink and blue, and it would seem the next I knew, my own eyes are staring back at me. He began to ask if your mistakes would be the very same they'd make. Was there something more that you could say? To my surprise, their loving lives grew to be my favorite prize. I'd like to say it's me, but that's okay. Take it steady, smooth, and slow. It hits like a moving storm, like a cyclone growling across that farm. Mama used to take me into her arms. It's gonna be okay. Life is filled with love and danger, but you're steady, you're smooth, you're slow to anger. Wake in the morning and kiss what you love. It's gonna be okay. Steady like the breeze on a summer day. Smooth like a lover that wants you to stay. Slow like you wanted to anyway. Yeah. Steady yeah. Steady like the sun when she's all aglow. Smooth like a lover that don't want you to go. Slow like you're already home, yeah.
Just hold that up. Yep. That too. Go your way. Yep. Thinking. Or maybe here. Yeah, here. So here I've got my Rupert Neve Designs 5015 out here because it's time to start working on the upper racks. That would be these bad boys here. And cut these up for making the upper racks. And you know, it occurs to me these can't be wrong. There's no real margin for error here. So I'm actually going to fit these together with the Rupert Neve installed in the angle flanks here, so that I know that I get the distance between the two. Make sure the distance here is equal. I have fairly large quantities of these. I kind of like these because they're hand tightened. That was cool. Yeah, they were given to me by our local audio shop not too long before they closed. They were kind of thinking of going out of business, and I bought, I don't know, a rack mount item. Yeah, I did. I bought an EQ from them, and they gave me just packages of these things. It's awesome.
The first swing brings redemption, the next one brings despair. He testifies to all his pain, the only way they heal. Blood runs down his face like Jesus in his crown of dawn. See anointed, the appointed, he's the iron fist of God. He comes right off a Scrabble farm where the prairie meets the pines. Didn't have much education, but his hands hard as iron. He finds it in the city blood, the only thing he owns. So he spills it in the rings from Quebec to Arkansas.
These inside corners where I couldn't cut pieces that had the laminate, I'll have to use wood putty, sand, putty, sand. Well, I ran into a problem. I was going to make these top racks 8U racks, which is, I think, 10.5 inches off the top of my head, I think. But the problem is, with the top board on, which I guess I can't show you here, it's not, yeah, it'll do something like that, and then on each side flip it over. But anyway, at this height, the problem is going to be, as I sit here, my speakers are going to be back over there. Now they'll be tall, like that, aimed slightly down at an angle towards me. But at this height, this is just in the way. It's going to actually, the speakers are going to strike the back of the rack system before they hit me. At least part of the speaker's signal. You know, it's a pair of near fields like everybody's got. So I've decided to shorten it to a 6U rack space. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm cutting all these down to a 6U space. That will give more more room for these audio from the speakers. The speakers won't have to be quite as high, and then they won't have to be angled down quite as far. So, you know, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. We've just got this one left to cut. Yeah, so I've already cut the, I built the upper racks. They're not as square as I'd like to see them be. I may have to rebuild the ramps themselves. Or at least do some trimming. At least one of the racks is not as square as I'd like. So now I'm setting down the... I'm cutting the holes. Cutting the holes in the desk in order to mount the racks. So I've already plunged cut the squares. Now I'm finishing up with a jigsaw.
It's hard enough, he never feels alone. Finally he decides that water's always best with wine. You can find him in the coke bins where he sleeps from time to time. He's got one hand on the bottle. He's got a one hand in his glove. He's gonna share his song of sorrow, no matter what it costs in blood. The first swing brings redemption, the next one brings despair. He testifies to all his pain, the only way they hear. Blood runs down his face like Jesus in his crown of thorns. He's the anointed, the appointed, he's the iron fist of God. Killed a man in Fargo in a drunken fit of rage. Something about a woman he don't even know her name. A man can lose himself here in the logging camps and mills. The better angels of his nature break and hide up in the hills. In Chipping Camp 300 down by Coal Stack number 9, meets a holy force of nature, lays it out.
Yeah, it's gonna need some sanding.
This come to Jesus moment is the thing he's looking for. He's got one hand on the Bible. He's got a one hand in his glove. He's gonna share his song of sorrow, no matter what it costs in blood. Got a Bible that he carries all the time. He's not much on reading, so he stays up in the pines, preaching up the gospel that I could not recognize. The severest of conversions for the roughest of mental life. A fistful of redemption and a heart filled up with pain. I guess the Lord can use him if he's willing anyway. Times he preaches, times he teaches, and times he just goes rogue. I can see your heart, we can straighten out your soul. He's got one hand on the Bible. He's got one hand in his glove. He's gonna share his song of sorrow, no matter what it costs in blood. He's gonna share his song of sorrow, no matter what it costs in blood. He's gonna share his song of sorrow, no matter what it costs in blood.
So, yeah, you know, on this side, I had two of these braces actually installed, and I decided that I needed only one. I needed to have only one because of the way the upper racks are installed, a brace in the front and the back would be in the way. So I went with a single brace in the center. So I had to undo 2 braces on this unit, bust them both out, install a new brace in the center, which is the brace in my hand, because this one's correctly cut. The second brace was incorrectly cut. The holes were incorrectly cut. I had it set to the wrong depth. So this brace never worked very well anyway. So I very carefully took both braces off, set the bad one over there, near that way, and I set the good one over here. Well, I went and got my tools to make the installation, and then when I came back, I picked up the bad one and I installed it. And I don't know, if you're a better study of the human condition than I am, you may have insights as to why such stupidity is part of our world. Part of my world. So I had to bust that one out too. So now I'm going to install the right one. It's about the 3rd time I've done this in this project. I'm not very good at this, but I continue. This tail, when I set the stand up on the desk, this tail protrudes beyond the 8-foot limit of the desk, so that it has to be cut off. I'll show you. I've already done that over here. This is how the whole thing works. See, this stand is set up so the rear tail hits that corner and the front corner hits this corner, and it's flush along this side, and I know that the stand is properly in place. All I will need to do now is put some pocket screws in there and probably in here in order to hold it in place. If I do it that way, put the pocket screws in that way, well, nah, I won't put them on the outside. I'm sure I'll put them on the inside. Terrific. Okay, I'll get back to work.